President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev. Today's formal reception will take place in a few minutes at the presidential residence. And for discussing this, I'm joined in studio by Iskandar Akalbayev, CEO and founder of Zander Group. Thank you very much for joining us. We will hear your insights later on, but now let's focus on the broadcasting first. And this year marks an important milestone, 30 years of diplomatic relations between Kazakhstan and Serbia. Over 3 decades, this partnership has steadily grown and expanded from traditional sectors like agriculture and seed production to cutting-edge fields such as cybersecurity and artificial intelligence. In 2024 alone, both presidents exchanged visits. President Tokayev traveled to Belgrade, and President Vučić is now in Astana for high-level talks to be focused on strengthening political dialogue, boosting trade and investments, and deepening cultural and humanitarian ties. On the eve of the visit, Astana hosted the first Kazakhstan-Serbia Business Council, bringing together entrepreneurs from both countries. And now we can see that President Vučić has arrived to the presidential residence of President Tokayev. And let me remind you that earlier discussions centered on joint projects in logistics, pharmaceuticals, agriculture, and IT. And digital innovation was high on the agenda as well. Astana's hub and Serbia's accelerator, C-UP, signed a memorandum to support early-stage startups and help them scale internationally. The main objective is to support startups at the earliest stages, helping transform promising ideas into viable businesses and guiding them toward market entry. Overall, more than 40 companies with Serbian capital are currently operating in Kazakhstan. These enterprises are active in defense manufacturing, energy, pharmaceuticals, and engineering. There are also successful examples of cooperation in the agricultural sector, including the joint production of hybrid corn seeds, a project that highlights the practical and mutually beneficial nature of Kazakhstan-Serbia partnership. And now we can see that we have already shots inside of the residence of President of Kazakhstan, and the two leaders are already shaking hands with the delegations. And let me remind you that institutionally the partnership is backed by a free trade agreement. It reduces barriers and creates predictable rules for investors. However, officials on both sides admit that the current number of joint enterprises, 44 companies with Kazakh capital in Serbia, does not yet reflect the full potential of the partnership. And the task now is to increase this figure and stimulate the investment. And now we can see already the two presidents are walking side by side. And let me remind you that we have already witnessed the business council held in Astana early on Thursday. And we can see that President Tokayev having already introductions with a Serbian delegation that has arrived to Astana. Let me remind you that this is already the second visit of Serbian President to Astana. It has been since November 2024 that President Vučić and President Tokayev meeting both in multilateral platforms and bilateral as well. have now witnessed the welcoming ceremony of the Serbian President Alexander Vučić in the presidential residence of President of Kazakhstan, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev. We can see that two leaders are walking inside the residence, and it is expected that they will discuss the bilateral trade and cooperation in IT, pharmaceuticals and agriculture. Serbia is one of the main trade partners of Kazakhstan in the Balkan region. And we have already witnessed also the visit of President Vučić to Astana early in November 2024, when dozens of agreements were signed. And also there was a business council held earlier on Thursday, and now we are joined by Iskandar Akalbayev, CEO of Zander Group and also political analyst. So we have already seen the visits, frequent visits, as well as meetings between the two leaders. How would you describe the possible and the main outcomes of this particular visit, please?
Well, thank you very much. The visit of President Vučić is highly important and timely because both countries actually share the same geo-economic realities. Both countries are trying to promote diversification in their energy, economy, tech, defense. Overall, diplomatic partnerships is very much diversified. Serbia, on its hand, has a very pragmatic partnership with Russia. At the same time, has close agreements with the European Union. Plus, Serbia is one of the key partners of China in the Balkans. So Kazakhstan have the same approach. We try to have a pragmatic and predictable relations with the European Union, Russia, China, United States. So we share similar understanding of our geo-economic, geopolitical realities. And I think the visit of President Vučić signals that countries, middle powers like Serbia and Kazakhstan would like to cooperate on different levels. As you mentioned, tech industry, defense industry, agricultural industrial complex. At the same time, we see the in a pharmaceutical area there is a joint ventures, and certainly the potential is not fully replicated in our economic agreement.
Right.
I believe there is much more space to grow.
So Serbia, a Balkan nation in Southeast Europe with a population of 6.6 million, is considered one of the region's economic hubs. For Kazakhstan, it represents a strategic gateway to European markets. In turn, Kazakhstan serves as Serbia's bridge to Central Asia and more broadly to Western China. So given its foreign policy, as you have already mentioned, both countries follow this multi-vector policy. So what exactly horizons does it open, in what exactly fields, and what agreements can be expected in this regard to be signed?
I believe that taking into account the rising trends in tech and AI that Kazakhstan has been promoting for the last 5 years, and this year 2026 is named as the year of digitalization and AI. So Astana Hub and other startup platforms that has been excelling from Kazakhstan to the world is a great showcase that Serbia can partner with Kazakhstan in joint ventures. The startups communities, both from Astana and Belgrade, can cooperate. And I think the partnership, specifically integrating the business venture capital from Serbia and Kazakhstan, can be utilized in that manner. Secondly, I think the pharmaceutical area is very much important. The COVID-19 actually showed that the crisis can happen at any time and at random. So I believe that the joint scientific approach, integrating the best practices from both countries, can be is very much important. And Kazakhstan has great facilities in pharmacy and scientific research in making their own vaccines. So I believe that can be one of the areas. And certainly I think the defense sector specifically when kind of defense is not only the artilleries and the weapons, but the defense sector is also about integrating the new technologies into the defense management, the machineries, the processing mechanisms. The joint ventures and companies can be opened in Kazakhstan as well as at the same time in Serbia. So I believe all that leads us to the bringing up talents and the human capital development. So I believe the universities should be playing a very much important role by linking business, IT, and other sectors of economy together. So university to university exchange, specific entrepreneurial programs can be launched.
Yes, and speaking of trade, mutual interest is also confirmed by the statistics. Last year, trade turnover between the two countries exceeded $107 million. The volume of Kazakhstan's export increased by an impressive 80%, the highest growth rate recorded to date. Mineral fertilizers from the core of exports, but the range of products continues to expand now, including packaging materials, spare parts, natural gas, meat and fish. Serbia in turn supplies Kazakhstan with pharmaceuticals, aluminium products, paper and cardboard. So speaking of business, we have already touched on this topic, Iskander. But if to speak about the logistic potential of two countries, especially also middle corridor,
Yes.
which is high on the agenda of Kazakhstan as well, what would you say on that?
Well, middle corridor is a very much strategic road through the Caspian Sea, and the goods that are coming from China through Kazakhstan to the ports of Georgia and Azerbaijan to Turkey and then Europe actually addresses the interest of European Union and Serbia in particular. So I believe it's possible to invite Serbian business communities and the people from the innovation sector to explore the opportunities of joint ventures along the middle corridor. I believe it's the timing is right, and the feasibility studies that can be done by the business communities and scientific communities along the middle corridor, and the business ratio of the connectivity from Kazakhstan to Europe, specifically to Serbia, I think this is an incredible opportunity for both countries.
So thus, Astana and Belgrade are moving toward a more practical and mutually beneficial format of cooperation focused on a thoughtful, long-term economic strategy. 30 years after establishing diplomatic relations, Kazakhstan and Serbia are entering a more pragmatic phase. So to wrap up, Iskander, if we speak about the perspective of the Serbian and Kazakh cooperation, how would you see the potential of it, given that we are now in just the end of February of 2026? So many things are happening, especially with new organizations appearing on the landscape. How do you see that?
Well, I think the potential certainly is there, and we already have like 44 joint enterprises, but we need to explore more.
Yeah.
We need to know about each country from the people-to-people exchange, through the education, through the tech cooperation, through the agriculture. So we need much more business delegations visiting each other. Belgrade and Astana at the same time. There are much more avenues to explore inside both countries. So we just need a human factor. We need much more interest from the business community, the private sector itself. The state visits and official visits, they open doors for both countries. What we need now is a practical and business implementation of that government-to-government partnerships. So it's up to us, the business community, the tech community, think tank community to explore those avenues, and it's the time is right for cooperation.
Yeah, that's a good note to finish our 2 days broadcast. And Iskander, thank you very much for your time and answers. Today I was joined by Iskander Akalbayev, CEO and founder of Zander Group, who answered our questions regarding the agenda of the official visit of the Serbia's President Alexander Vučić to Kazakhstan. We'll be following the upcoming events and we'll share it with you, so stay tuned and watch Silkwood TV channel. See you later.